Hi, this is Jaya. In this video, we shall see the summary of Mr. Edwards and the Spider by Robert Lowell. Come, let's go to the poem. Robert Lowell was born in 1917, and actually this poem is a found poem. That is, a person found the poem and then they published it, and the whole poem is written in first person. And this Mr. Edwards is actually a real person. His full name is Jonathan Edward. He lived from 1703 to 1758, and he had a fascination for spiders. In fact, when he was only 11 years old, he wrote a 3,000 word scientific essay on spiders. Later on, he became a preacher. But even after becoming a preacher, he used the images of spiders to discuss about death, damnation, and the torments of hell. And in this poem, Robert Lowell actually imagines Jonathan Edward preaching a sermon. And actually, when he is preaching, he is using the images of spider, and he has taken this sermon based on the biblical passage Ezekiel 22:14. And here he speaks about how he has observed spiders, and he compares the spiders to human beings and how the spiders are helpless in front of nature. In the same way, he says that human beings, when they are sinners, they become helpless in front of God and they are thrown into hell, like how spiders are thrown into fire, and they die without even resisting anything or struggling out because they know this is their fate. Now we'll read the poem. It is in first person, so you can imagine Jonathan Edward talking to you. He says, I saw the spiders marching through the air, swimming from tree to tree that mildewed day in later August when the hay came cracking to the barn. So he says, I was observing the spiders and I saw them swimming from one tree to another. And he also says that it was the later part of August. But where the wind is westerly, Wakenald November makes the spiders fly into the apparitions of the sky. They purpose nothing but they ease and die. So he says, but as I notice, I understand that the spiders are not just swimming from tree to tree. It is the wind which is making them to fly there, and they do not even resist. They just die. Why they die is the wind is sending them towards the sea, and when they go to the sea, they fall in the sea and they die. And he says that urgently beating east to sunrise and the sea, because they are only sent. It is like the wind is beating them to the sea. What are we in the hands of the great God? So he says, when spiders itself are helpless in the hands of wind, then human beings, what are we in the hands of the great God? It was in vain you set up thorn and briar in battle array against the fire, and treason cackling in your blood. So he says, just like how when the spider is thrown in fire, it crackles because of the blood in its body. In the same way, we are doing so many sins in our life, and all that sins will only make us to go to hell, because God will throw us in the fire of hell. And then he continues, he says, for the wild thorns grow tame and will do nothing to oppose the flame. Because when you take a thorn and throw it in the fire, the thorn is not going to fight with the flame. It is just going to burn and get away. So same way, how the thorn does not oppose the flame, human beings also, when you are sinners, you will not be able to oppose God's will to send you to hell. You Lacrians tell the losing game. You play against a sickness past your cure, because he says you know very well what you are doing in your life. So when you are going to fight with God, and if you are going to oppose to go to hell, you know you are fighting with a sickness which has no cure. In the same way, he says the only cure is to be good persons in life. Otherwise, you will be sent to hell and you will face damnation. How will the hands be strong? How will the heart endure? A very little thing, a little worm or hourglass blazing spider, it is said, can kill a tiger. So he says, how can you be strong in the hands of God? God is stronger than you. And how can you have the heart to endure the torture you are going to suffer in the hell? Because in hell you are going to suffer throughout, and it is only fire and hell. And he says a very little thing, a little worm or hourglass blazing spider, can kill a tiger. So he says small things can do great things. So even a small sin in your life can send you to hell. Will the dead hold up his mirror and affirm to the four winds the smell and flash of his authority? So he says, after you are dead, Do you have any authority in this world? You cannot do anything. You are dead and gone. That's it. It's well if God, who holds you to the pit of hell, much as one holds a spider, will destroy, baffle, and dissipate your soul. So he says everything is in the hands of God. God is the one who's going to hold you and decide whether you have to go to hell or not. And so he says, when we are living, let us be good. As a small boy on a Windsor marsh, I saw the spider die when thrown into the bubbles of fierce fire. So he says, when I was a small boy, I saw how a spider fell into the fire and it died. There is no long struggle, no desire to get up on its feet and fly. It stretches out its feet and dies. He says the spider did not fight. It did not try to run away from the place. It just fell into the fire and it died. And he says it is going to happen to all the sinners. This is the sinner's last retreat. So this is the way the sinners also have to meet their last retreat. Yes, and no strength exerted on the heat. Then sinews the abolished will. When sick and full of burning, it will whistle on a brick. So you will only after death you will be sent to the brick. And you're not going to ask for anything, you cannot decide anything, you'll only have to go according to God's judgment. But who can plump the sinking of that soul? So he says, but when your soul is sinking, who can help you out? No one can help you. And then he talks about Joshua Havley. This Joshua Havley is actually the uncle of Edward, and he committed suicide. And according to Christians, it's a sin to commit suicide, and they know very well that sin will only send you to hell. So he mentions him here and he says, Joshua Havley, picture yourself cast into a bricklin where the blast fans your quick vitals to a coal. If measured by a glass, how long would it seem burning? So he says, you committed suicide and you're going to go to hell. And how long you're going to be in hell? Did you know that? Let there pass a minute. Is it going to be just 1 minute in hell? Or 10 trillion, or see, 1 minute is very small, 10 trillion is a long time, but the blaze is infinite. He says it's not long time, you cannot measure the time, because in hell you're going to be eternal. This is death, to die and know it. And you knew that if you're going to commit suicide, you're going to go to hell. Knowing that you commit suicide, and now you're going to suffer eternally in hell. This is the black widow death. Black widow is a metaphor for death, and he says, this is the death which you have invited on yourself. And he ends a poem here. It's a very beautiful poem. It is almost like a sermon which tells the people, which warns the people against sinning in this world, because God will only send us to hell if we are sinners. I hope you like the poem, and if you have anything more to add on to this, please write it in the comment box. Like the video, share with your friends, and if you have not subscribed my channel, please subscribe. Thank you.